All right, you've got the song almost learned now. Adding pedal into variation 2. Again, don't add pedal until you've got left hand and right hand thoroughly learned, then add pedal. The pedaling pattern is exactly like it is in the theme. So here we go. Again, I'm starting with my pedal down, and I'm going to go kind of slowly, and I'm going to tell you what the upper part, the front part of my foot is doing here. You ready? Start with your foot down, and this is variation 2. Up, down, 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 up, down. You already know this part. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And that brings us into the ending. All right, here we go. Let's learn the ending. Let's start with just your right hand and let's learn note names. Now, I would, again, I'd say these out loud and I wouldn't write them in, because if you write them in on your paper, you only think about them once. If you think them through without writing them down, you'll have to think them through each time until they become automatic, which will help you on lots of other songs as well. Okay, so I'd start off, don't worry about your counting. It's going to be very similar to it is the same counting as the opening of variation 2 anyway. Don't worry about your counting yet. Don't forget about your flats. Remember, the first 4 flats in any key would be B flat, E flat, A flat, and D flat. Spell the word bead. Of course, we only have 3 flats in this song, so we're watching out for B flat, E flat, and A flat. So here we go. We start off with, of course, you see your middle C, and notice second finger is still supposed to be on middle C. And then we're going to stretch down your thumb. We skip the next space, so that would have been B flat. And now we get down to the next line. It's called a third under middle C, because it's C, skip over the B flat, and play the A flat. So it's 3 note names involved, so it's called the interval of a third. Anytime we go from a line to the very next line or a space to the very next space, that's always called the interval of a third. All right? So we got C to A flat with your thumb there. And then normally we start from the bottom up, so let's do it like that. You ready? We've got A flat and C, and then right next door, and watch the fingering here, we've got B flat and D. Watch the fingering there. Remember, in piano music, thumb is always 1. Thumb is always 1. So you've got, all right, so let's start again. We got A flat and C, and then right next door we have B flat and D, and next door again, C and E flat. Watch that 4th finger on E flat. Our 4th finger is our weakest finger, but you got to learn to use it, get comfortable with it. So go ahead and use that 4th finger there. Now we come, it goes back down. Everything goes right next door. When it goes next door, a line to the very next space or a space to the very next line, that's called the interval of a second. So we go next door again to notes we've already done, B flat and D, and then C and E flat, then D and F. Learn that well, just that first measure, all right? Now, here's how the counting will go. Again, we're going to count it like we did with variation 2. We're going to, when we have a grouping of 3 16th notes, we'll say 1, 2, 3, and that will be a dotted 8th note. Remember, a dotted 8th is a grouping of 3 16th notes. And then a regular 8th note is like 2 16ths put together, so that's going to determine our counting. I'm going to go slow. You ready? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Learn that really well, because the next measure are the same notes, just up an octave, all right? And we'll take the same fingering, so learn the first measure really well, and then slide that same fingering up an octave. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. All right, let's get the left hand. The left hand starts on a low A. Remember, we're watching out for A flat, so that's A flat octave, and then right next door is your B flat octave, and then measure 2 does the same thing again, A flat octave and B flat octave. All right, let's count this. You ready? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and that's a good spot right there.